Welcome back to the channel. It is Sarah, or Failed Criminal, whichever you prefer, and today I wanted to talk about something frustrating. I assume most of the people who watch this channel are familiar with the harassment that happens basically immediately after you leave your front door. You know, just like immediately after you leave your front door, just, hey, are you little Bo Peep? Which isn't as bad, you know, that it could be, which we'll delve deep into this video about types of harassment and what they mean and stuff like that. So we're gonna talk about that. But this is gonna be a little bit of a ranty video on this topic about the harassment that alt-fashion people receive every time they're out in public. And I mean every single time. Every single time. So I'm gonna keep it real with you guys. I don't have a script for this. I'm just kind of freeballing it. So I do apologize if I say or like a lot. I really do apologize, but I just kind of wanted to freeball it because I think that I'd have a lot more anger that way. Ignore me fixing my bangs. I think I'd have a lot more anger, and I think it'd be a lot more fun to see that. Also, ignore my mannequin. I just took a dress off of it and I forgot to put one back on there. And I don't feel like doing that. So yeah. So anyways, what do I qualify as harassment? I usually qualify harassment as continually, more than once, trying to get the attention of someone who doesn't want it, who's made it clear that they don't want it. Whether, you know, it doesn't even have to be a no. It doesn't even have to be an outright no to be qualified as harassment. I think that if you just ignore the person, ignore them, that should be taken as a no. I don't think that should be taken as, oh, maybe they just didn't hear me. That should be taken as a no. So that is what I qualify as harassment. The multiple attempts to get the attention of someone who has made it very clear that they do not want to talk to you. So there are a couple different harassment types. Let's see, photos. We'll start with photos. So photos, usually people like to sneak photos of people in alt fashion, whether it to be to show off to their family, like, hey, I saw this person in alt fashion, or not even alt fashion, they wouldn't say that. These bitches would be like, hey, look at this weird ass person that I saw. Look at this fucking weirdo that I saw, this fucking idiot that's wearing a frilly ass dress. Like, look at what I said. Okay, sorry y'all, I was just on the phone with my best friend, so sorry. Anyways, let's get back to this. They like to take pictures like that to show their family as like a trophy almost. It's weird. Like, I've had family members do that in my life, and yeah, it's just kind of weird. I had my grandparents and my ex's parents do that to alternative people, and I was just like, that is really weird, and I think that you shouldn't do that. So yeah, so they also usually try to be like, here, I'll even simulate it for you. Hold on. They try to be like that, and it's like, your flash is on. Like, are you kidding me? So yeah, they try to like pretend that they're doing like a selfie like this, but they'll aim it at you like this, and it's like, yeah, you're so f***ing slick, bro. Like, I've never seen that before. Like, holy shit, bro. Like, get a GoPro and just like record alternative people. I'm not saying you should do that. Please don't do that. But like, I've actually thought about getting a GoPro to record all of my social interactions with people, because I get the weirdest interactions, which we'll go into later in this video, but I get the weirdest interactions. It's so odd, it's so peculiar. So the next type of harassment is yelling. So we get, usually, we'll get more into this later, but usually it's like younger people, younger boys who think that it's funny to yell like, emo! Even if you're dressed like this. Like, does this look emo to you? Do I look emo to you, you idiot? Sorry, I'm being harsh. Yes, I think that those kids are idiots, and I think that they need to smarten up and not harass people. Because at least here in the area that I live in, you never know who's packing, bro. Like, you can't be with people like that. Like, I try not to like get into other people's way and stuff because you never know how crazy they are or if they're packing. Like, you can't be doing that, at least here in the US. In other countries, like, I'm sure it's different, but like here in the US, you can't be harassing people like that. You don't know how crazy they are or if they're packing. But yeah, they'll be yelling stuff like, little Bo Peep, 67. I don't even know what 67 means. 6'7", I don't know what that means. Yeah, I don't know what that stuff means. I'll get asked like if I have ever done 69. I got asked once if I was a Discord kitten, and my friend, he was just like, why would you ask that? I think they were like 15 or 16. It was weird as shit. It was weird as f. I was just like, what the f? And I just kept walking. I was like, what the hell is happening? What the helly? Then there is unwanted touch. Unwanted touch is exactly as it sounds. So it'll be people, you know, coming up to you being like, what's under your skirt? What's under your skirt keeping it puffy? I love your hair. I love your hair accessories. Look at this brooch. It's so beautiful. And other times it's men trying to grope you. I have had that happen maybe a handful of times. It's very uncomfortable. You know, they'll, or like even just stuff like people like grabbing me on the shoulder and being like, you're so beautiful. It's just so uncomfortable because like for me, I don't like being touched by people I don't know. Shocker, right? But for me, I don't like being touched by people in general. Like the only people I like really touching me is my mother and my husband, and that is it. I accept hugs from my mother, I accept hugs from my husband, and other people it's very hit or miss whether or not I want to hug them. So it's just very frustrating because it feels like my boundaries are just constantly being crossed just because of the clothes that I'm wearing. And I feel like that's very unacceptable. I feel like we are, at least in America, I don't know how it is with other countries, but like the thing with America is that we are like a free country. You can do whatever you want. We like have freedom and stuff, but you have to be a normal person in order to have, someone who dresses in normal clothes to have those freedoms to do whatever you want. And of course you can't go too far out, you know, you can't dress in all black, you can't dress in all pink, you can't do anything like that because that isn't normal. And it's just so frustrating, and I wish that alternative fashion was brought more into the, I hate using this term. Actually, I'm not gonna lie, I like using this term. I wish that dressing alternative was brought more into the normies sphere, just because it would prevent a lot of harassment. And I feel like there's nothing wrong. This isn't even like a feeling, this is just objective. There's nothing wrong with dressing alternative, and it's really frustrating to go outside and be constantly harassed and have things happen to me just because I'm wearing different clothes than you. Like, I'm still a person underneath of everything. We both have skin, we both have hearts, we both have kidneys, we both have livers, hopefully. And it's just really frustrating that people can't see that I'm also a person and I'm not like an attraction or a zoo exhibit. It's just really frustrating. The last one I wanted to talk about is sexual harassment. So sexual harassment is, again, exactly how it sounds, whether it be through DMs, which is not what we're talking about today, but DMs, or in person. So, you know, older men coming up, trying to sneak, this is kind of a mix of everything, but trying to get under your dress, like this, if you're squatting down or something. They try to get under your dress, they try to get pictures of you. I've actually seen a man jorking his peanuts in a park while staring at me while I was taking photos, and it's just so unbelievable that this happens. Like, what is so appealing, like sexually gratifying to usually men, sorry, I don't mean to like point the finger, but what is like so sexually gratifying to men about girls wearing dresses? Not even girls, like anyone can wear a dress. Sorry, that sounded bad, but like anyone can wear a dress. What is so sexually appealing about people wearing dresses? I don't get it. It's just so frustrating. I know I keep saying that, but it really is. It's so aggravating to go outside and not knowing if I'm gonna get yelled at, if I'm gonna get photos taken, if I'm gonna be touched by people like, I love your outfit, or if I'm gonna have someone come up to me and try to grope me, or if a man is gonna come up to me and be like, what can you do underneath that petticoat? What's underneath your petticoat? What's underneath your dress? Like, it's so odd. It's you and can you imagine? Okay, hold on. I'm sorry to pull this card. Can you imagine if you went up to a person who is dressed normally and you were like, what's under those pants? What's under those pants? Like, no one does that. No one does that. So why does it make it okay for alternative people to be treated that way? It literally does not click in my brain. Like, what is the disconnect between normal dressing person and alternative person? Who does the harassment? So for a lot of the harassment, it's teenagers. It's teenage boys, mainly. You know, the ramen head boys. You know, it's them doing the harassment. Usually the yelling in the photos. And it's very uncomfortable. And, you know, I don't understand what is in the water today with like teenagers, because they are so mean now. They are so mean. I made a video like I think a year ago, almost 2 years ago, about the harassment I would get from teenagers when I went out in public more. I used to be a daily Lolita. I can't do that anymore due to the nature of my work, unfortunately, and my schooling and stuff, so I can't do that anymore. But I have a lot of stories to tell about teenagers, and it's just really frustrating. Again, I'm sorry for using that word, but it's really frustrating that these teenagers just aren't taught basic respect in everything. They have to be like, oh my god, an alternative person, someone dressing different, oh my god. And it's just so frustrating. Like, it's like, what happened? I feel like whenever scene and emo were like bigger, I feel like it was a little more accepted. I feel like, okay, hold on, let me take that back. I feel like emo and scene and stuff is a little more accepted now than like J fashion. And I think that's irritating. That's just my personal opinion too. You can say that I'm wrong or whatever, I don't care. But I feel like it's a little more accepted, especially goth fashion. Like, teenage boys will always be like, I want a thick goth girl, a thick goth mommy. But then they treat other people in the alternative sphere super bad. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make any sense. Moving on. Harassment. Who does the harassment? Older men. Older men are the ones who are sexual and do unwanted touch most of the time. So I was on a packed train once and a older man came up behind me, and I didn't realize because I had my earbuds in, which I never do anymore now. I don't wear earbuds or headphones while I'm on the train in EGL because it is so dangerous now. But I was on the train and this guy comes up behind me and just starts pressing himself against me. The train wasn't that packed. Like, it was packed, but it wasn't that packed. And he was just like pressing himself against me, and I was just like, there's so much more space everywhere else that I know that you're doing this to be a freak. Like, it's so and then sometimes it's younger women who do the harassment. Sometimes younger women, like teenage girls or like mid-20s girls who never grew up out of high school or are in high school, who never, you know, peaked beyond that. They peaked in high school. So they like to pick on alternative people and make fun of them and stuff. And it's just, you know, the usual. I mean, it's definitely not as like interruptive as like teenage boys. Young girls don't usually be like, you know, I don't even know how to describe it. Like, they don't take pictures. Okay, hold on. Teenage girls and young adult women, they don't yell at you. They just take pictures and record you and post you to TikTok like, look at this fucking hooligan, you know? And I can't even tell you how many people I have seen on TikTok who had their picture taken without their knowledge and are just posted. It's just, I don't know. But yeah. Anyways, how I handle harassment is I just let it slide off me. I don't even approach it. I just ignore them and I walk away. If it's someone who's being sexual with me or like touching me, I just kind of go like, ah, yeah. and then I walk away. But I never like engage these people as much as I want to, but I never engage the people who do the sexual harassment and like unwanted touching. I never engage with them physically or anything as much as I've wanted to, as I just stated. But with the kids yelling and taking photos, I honestly just block out my face as best as I can. Take photos back of them. You know, I'll just be like, hey, it's so funny that you're doing that. You know? Or I just walk away. You know? That's the best thing that you can do. You can just walk away. And I think that that's honestly the safest thing to do, especially if you live in a city with such a big crime problem as the city that I live in. And like I said earlier in the video, you never know who's packing. You never know how mentally unstable or unwell someone is, or how crazy they are just in general. You never know. So it's best to just leave it alone. And, you know, if those pictures of you get posted online, you shouldn't let that bother you. It's not that big of a deal. No one's gonna know who you are unless you have like a really big media presence, like mentioning my mutual Addie Harajuku. Like, no one's gonna know unless you're like as big as Addie, you know. And it's just, you just gotta let that shit go. You gotta let that shit just simmer somewhere else. You gotta just not even let it simmer. You just gotta turn that pot off and you just gotta leave it alone. And I really can't stress that enough. You really just need to leave it alone. And if you really feel comfortable with it, you can always like confront people and just be like, hey, did you take a picture of me? Only if you feel safe about it. And I think that if you think that there is any possibility of them like punching you, hitting you, stabbing you, shooting you, anything like that, you should not confront them. Like, at all. If you feel anything like that. And I think that that's obvious, but I just want to say that just in case anyone gets like any ideas. So yeah, I personally just let that go. I just go with my own flow, do my own thing. You know, if someone wants to be bothered by what I'm wearing, let them be bothered. It's none of their business. At the end of the day, it's my body, it's my clothes, it doesn't matter. So yeah, that's just my opinion on that. Anyways, that is my video on harassment. I might add an addendum to this at some point, but I'm not sure. I think I covered everything I want to cover. And yeah, thank you guys so much for watching and for the continued support while I go through this really awkward time of being in school, working full-time and stuff like that. It's been really stressful and I really do appreciate it. It means a lot to me. We actually just hit 1,500 followers and I think that that's really awesome. You know, I actually started a YouTube channel when I was younger and I think I got like 12 subscribers and I was like over the moon about it. It's like, I can't even imagine how little me would feel about 1,500 subscribers. Like, that's crazy to me. That is just absurd. Like, 1,500 people want to tune into my videos every time I post, and that just means a lot to me. And yeah, you guys are awesome. Thank you so much. My socials are in the description. I have an Instagram and a TikTok if you are interested. And yeah, thank you guys so much. Anyways, have a good day.